everybody, my name is Player Negative, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to start working on a drawing as a tribute to everything I've been working on so far, as well as my good friend Zippy from Zipimations. Since my character's design kind of has a little bit of a striking resemblance to Mario, and since he kind of, if you've seen his animations, moves a little bit like Sonic, I thought as a cute little nod to that, I would do a photo or a redrawing based off of the iconic poster art of Sonic and Mario, the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. You know, where both of them are knocking into each other from the sides with their elbows touching. Yeah. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my views on what I'm going to do in the future, why I made this channel, and what I'm all about. Because I see it as essential to explain what my deal is and why I'm here. I originally just made this channel as a way to just make some extra money for a PC so I could start out with better equipment, but I realized that I could do a little bit more and work with what I've got, because most of the artists on this platform, the good ones for that matter, all started when they made art that was genuine based off what they had. A few basic programs and a dream. Honestly, I just wanted to make something interesting, and I doubt I'll ever get to the high ranks of some of the YouTubers you know and love, like Bryson, The Odd Ones Out, Hamimations, Jaden Animation, even though I don't fully agree with them, and everyone else. I'm at least going to try to do something interesting and new to prove that people of my generation can make something interesting and can go beyond what most people think is possible. Honestly, I am going to make this channel as a little bit of a break from all the stuff that people feel annoyed by. Like, people love talking about things they hate. I'm not going to go into that. I have a political view that would make a lot of you guys angry, so I honestly want to focus on being a little more wholesome, or maybe just, you know, a little more uplighting. Wholesome is stretching it, in my opinion. I mean, I do want these videos not to be listed as for kids and have the comments shut off just because it's animated, which, honestly, me doing this with paper cutouts in front of an actual camera is probably my only saving grace from that issue because of YouTube's algorithm. As for what I'm going to be planning on doing, in the summer I'm going to be doing a collab video with some of my friends of an interesting fight scene between some of my characters, between my character and my friends' avatars, which I'll show a few images of them sometime when I get to the video of making it. I'm going to plan on working on a Q&A video on everything that I'm going to be planning on later on, as well as maybe anything you would want to ask me about. I also make a tutorial on how I make these little cardboard assets, as well as some of the animations I use. It's not practical. It's pretty practical, and it's not that interesting or well detailed, but at least I think it's something interesting. I went with a limbless Rayman look because it felt easy to animate, and honestly, Flip a Clip can't do that well, and I can't afford anything else. If you think I'm some random big shot using tools that are expensive but prefer to do it super simplistic and sloppy, you are dead wrong. I am only working with a camera, a bunch of random art supplies, and a phone with multiple basic cheap video editor acts. I'm just making the most out of practically very little. I have no budget for any of these videos. I take time about a few days or a few hours making them, and I do a certain amount of time in doing this. Also, I'm planning on maybe trying out other things than just the stop-motion animations. Like, if you saw one of my shorts, I was focused on maybe doing skits or like a story based off the skit format, like what you see in those skits with DC on Lampleg Animations. Like, you know, the people who do all those Batman skits, like Red Panda Comics or someone else. I think about making an interesting story about that. Also, I intend to keep my face off camera, so if my character's wearing a hat or a mask in those videos, that's for the main reason why. I mean, I'm not anyone special looking. I look like the most generic white guy you're ever gonna see. But I just think it's for the sake of my, you know, God-given right of privacy, I should do that. Also, I kind of want to flex my artistic skills. I also wanted to talk about my character's design. I made him purple for the purpose of getting past the stupid misconception that a character who's purple has to be angsty or evil, which, you know, most indie games immediately decide to associate with that, which I honestly don't do that, and I don't really want to do that. But to be honest, I feel like I need to change that. And it's also why I submitted a design to one of my friends, The Traveling Gamer, which I'll get into that. I am going to make a few videos that are not on a specific format. Like, maybe I'll talk about things like certain things within video games you don't know, or certain things you might want to know, like lore-wise. Like, I'll explain why Pokemon's actually demonic and why there's a bunch of horrendous stuff in that. Which, you know, there's a lot of solid evidence to support it. It's not just the occasional stereotype that parents believe that Pokemon's demonic for no reason. As for how things are going, I plan to try to make a stable amount of videos that are at least decent. Why these videos may not take as much time as the average YouTuber, I am still trying to put as much work into it as I can. Quality over quantity. That's why you see very few of these videos. And sometimes the editor I use on YouTube sometimes puts these in as shorts on accident. So that's why you see a lot more videos than shorts on my feed. I appreciate everyone who's been supporting me in doing this, from my family, my friends, and a few other people. I also hope to continue this in a few ways. Like, maybe I'll try things like doing a few skits, maybe doing animations with different forms entirely. Like, maybe I'll try 3D animation with Blender, or maybe I'll try things like hand-drawn 2D on a computer. I also maybe want to try collabing with other creators. And why that may be hard, there are a few people who do want to collab with me. Specifically, Zippy is someone who's up for the challenge, which is why I decided to make this drawing. I kind of like his art style. It reminds me of the early Newgrounds days. The earlier days of the internet when Henry Stickmin was interesting and Flash wasn't considered crappy for no reason. Maybe I'll make some Let's Play videos of Super Smash Flash 2 if you guys are interested in that. I'm honestly up for a lot of ideas. I'm a guy with a lot of options on his mind. Also, just so you know, the reason I might not be making the videos all together or on a consistent landline is because I'm still trying to figure some things out. I'm kind of a noob here, so don't expect me to get everything right on the first try. Also, I don't want to be too political about anything. Yeah, I'll be a little bit preachy and mention certain things that are genuinely wrong and do need to be dealt with, like how the animation industry is falling, the crap that companies like Disney and Nintendo and TikTok are doing, but I'm not going to get too deep into it because I want to keep an optimistic or a good view on things for people. I don't want to just be another person who's just dooming, glooming, or a person who has good intentions and is making people more aware of the problem, but just becomes another issue or another screaming poster that's dismissed by everyone here. I don't really have a consistent format that you could put my character into. I guess I'm like a storytime animator, or maybe someone like Circletoons, because he's not really a storytime animator. I mean, he shifts between talking about video games to talking about random things like movies or skits, which honestly, I feel like I'm on more of a consistent length with Circletoons. Which honestly, I don't think is a bad thing, but it's the best I could try to do in other ways. Also, honestly, I am going to talk about a few things I might want to try out that aren't video games. Yeah, real shocker. But also maybe a few other options, like maybe a few movies. Maybe I'll discuss what I like about certain things. And maybe I'll bring up some personal stories with a few chuckles and laughs. Now, anything I say that might be controversial or just anything that might sound like a little tad offensive, I say either out of good humor. I'm not trying to be rude to anyone, so I just want that to be clear. Now, I'm trying to make this video my videos basically on a general age or general audience situation, but I can't do that without generally saying something. Now, I'm not gonna curse or anything, but I am gonna say something that might be a heavy topic, or maybe I'll occasionally try to basically act in a few areas like being live action or being something else. Because there's been an issue where the algorithm immediately thinks if something's animated, it's for kids. Like, people put Rick and Morty on YouTube Kids, which, is going to scar a 4-year-old if they see that. Overall, I want to make something genuine, and I want to bring some hope that creators can actually do something good and aren't just a bunch of people who cheaply turn out everything. Because let's face it, the higher-ups in every animation or video game studio barely ever look at the internet or choose to talk about the people who talk about them on the internet. It's mainly because they hired an entire team that's just disconnected from that. So all that random stuff in the Sonic community that got everyone riled, like how super forms work or how everything is canon, isn't partially true because it was just some random guy on Twitter who was in the team who had no business. I hope to do the best I can do, and my work may not be perfect, and heck, it may not even be high quality as what you guys would put on your own personal standards, but honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm okay not being famous, and I'm okay not being the guy who's got it all. I'm just going to try to do something interesting because I want to flex my artistic creativity and do something that people might like. And if I do become a higher, or if I do get up to being one of the ranks of people like Jaden Animation, MadPat, or Circle Tunes, then yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be nice. But I wouldn't try to make that my main goal. I mean, I'm at 7 or 9 subscribers right now, and I'm honestly okay with that. It's not 1,000K or something, but honestly, I feel like I should just settle for what I got. Take it or leave it, in my opinion. I hope you enjoy some of this video. And also, I want you to I hope you're having a good day. All of you. Thanks for just being around and sticking for this long conversation as you hear an 18-year-old who can barely draw talk about how he's going to do things on a platform that's focused on so many of the wrong things, with certain people trying to do their best to even manage their dreams and ideas here. I hope you all have a good day. Whether you're a kid, whether you're a teenager, or whether you're an adult man, I want you to know that you matter. Everything happens for a reason. Whether it's good or it's bad, you take the chances and take the consequences of what may. And how you respond to that is going to defy the outcome. For as my father said, the path of success is paved with failure. And I hope you all have a good day. Okay, this is taking a lot longer than I expected. Alright, So, in terms of what I do plan to make certain videos about, the collab video is going to be a basic fight scene, but after that, I'm going to do a little bit of a few Q&As in case you guys want to hear something interesting, and maybe I'll make a few shorts. I'm also planning on maybe talking about a few classic NES games here and there, and mainly doing a few reviews. Like maybe I'll do some reviews on games on the Genesis or the or the Nintendo Entertainment System. Because I have both. Rather, I have the mini versions. I know a lot of people don't like the plug and play Sega Genesis because of how small and ugly it might look. But in my opinion, I'm kind of okay with it. I've grown up with it for a while and I've gotten used to it. And at least it has a cartridge that can actually play games. Like, at least you can actually use a cartridge drive. The NES can't do any of that. And having the feeling of like playing classic games is generally nice because, well, I grew up with it. Back in the early 2000s, while everyone else was playing Halo or doing something like Little Big Planet, Rayman, or Banjo and Kazooie, Nuts and Bolts, or using their Xbox for who knows what, I was busy just playing the first Mario Brothers with my younger brother Gideon, playing Mario 64, trying to survive in Pac-Man, playing Chick Chick Boom, which if you haven't heard of that game, check it out. It is actually really fun and really cool. You may have to do some things that may or may not be illegal to get it if you can't access the Wii Shop. But overall, I think it's genuinely okay. I grew up with a lot of older media, and I understand how certain movies and things should be. I took a writing class in understanding how characters and certain stories should be written. You should be consistent, make sure your next installment doesn't contradict what the character learned in his resolution, and keep things on a good pattern and setting. Honestly, it's glad to see that certain people got the message of that. Whatever Sonic the Hedgehog 3 did, it's working. It saved Marvel and DC. I think after DC and Marvel saw the third Sonic movie, they understood what Disney failed to understand. Because right after that, Spider-Man came in with the whole Friendly Neighborhood series on Disney Plus and gave us a version of Spider-Man that was both what you expected and everything you weren't expecting. And DC, well, they got a whole set plan to fix everything. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that whatever you got out of this helped you. I'm going to do the best I can to create, to express, and to share my constructive criticisms on anything you need to know. I may not be the smartest or the best at what I can do, but it's better than nothing. I'm willing to strive to do anything. Not because I'm desperate, but because I'm willing to go the distance. I don't use satire. I care about sincerity, something that I've noticed people lack. And I hope you all have a good day. Well, and I hope things end up well for you all. Now back to this drawing. Honestly, I'm not too concerned about drawing Zippy because honestly, his design is rather simple because it tries to fit the Newgrounds style. So drawing his body wasn't really that hard. My character's a little more complex, and I didn't draw him limbless because I wanted to capture the whole Sonic and Mario-esque sort of thing. I maybe hope to create a video that's like a fight between these two, like a JoJo fight or a Dragon Ball fight maybe, which I think could be interesting. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-